All right, I'm here. I had to make some quick changes to this decode because I entered the wrong day that this happened. I put Wednesday's date instead of Thursday's. Originally, I had the 21st, but this was the 22nd from what I'm seeing here. And let me go over here and just share this as I read a paragraph or so, and then we'll play the video. But you may have heard about this. This is kind of trending everywhere. A private jet carrying a music talent agent and 5 others hit a power line in foggy weather early Thursday and crashed into a San Diego neighborhood, slamming into a home and killing multiple people on the flight. With the home engulfed in flames and jet fuel rolling down the streets, half a dozen vehicles ignited, while residents in the neighborhood of U.S. Navy-owned housing were shaken awake just before 4 a.m. by the thunderous crash and subsequent explosions. Out their windows, they saw a wall of fire. I can't quite put words to describe what the scene looks like, but with the jet fuel going down the street and everything on fire all at once, it was pretty horrific to see, San Diego Police Chief Scott Wall said. No one in the neighborhood died, but 8 were taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation and injuries that were not life-threatening, including a person who was hurt climbing out a window, police officer Anthony Carrasco said. Now, Dave Shapiro, co-founder of Sound Talent Group, and 2 employees were among those killed. The music agency said in a statement, Sound Talent Group has represented artists including American pop band Hanson, American singer-songwriter Vanessa Carlton, and the Canadian rock group Sum 41. Hanson is perhaps best known for its earworm 1990s pop hit Bop. Shapiro also owned Velocity Records. We are devastated by the loss of our co-founder, colleagues, and friends. Our hearts go out to their families and to everyone impacted by today's tragedy. So 6 people were on board, according to the Federal Aviation Administration. Authorities were still combing the scene and recovering the bodies before releasing an official number and identifying the dead. Though there were not believed to be any survivors aboard the flight. Daniel Williams, a former drummer for metal band The Devil Wears Prada, posted on his Instagram on Wednesday afternoon that he was boarding the plane with Shapiro. The band posted a tribute to Williams on their Instagram page. All right. So here's Dave Shapiro right here, the music agent. And here is Daniel Williams right here. And I did discover a birthday. This guy's got a December 12th birthday, and you'll see how that factors in to this breakdown. So you see him appears to be playing the drums there. I've heard of the band. I can't really place a song associated with them, but The Devil Wears Prada drummer Daniel Williams dead. And again, this music talent agent Dave Shapiro, RIP. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. And we're going to have some video here to play.
Music agency Sound Talent Group has confirmed 3 of its employees, including its co-founder, were killed in that plane crash.
Meanwhile, aviation experts are weighing in on the investigation. Eyewitness News reporter Kevin Ozebek picking up our team coverage live in the newsroom. Kevin.
Well, Mark and Michelle, he was an experienced pilot and an experienced talent agent, but it's still not clear what went wrong as a Cessna tried to land in San Diego. It was clear Dave Shapiro loved the thrill of flight. The 42-year-old owned both an aviation company and helped found the music agency Sound Talent Group. The company confirming Shapiro and 2 other employees died in the crash. It released this statement saying, "We are devastated by the loss of our co-founder, colleagues, and friends. Our hearts go out to their families and to everyone impacted by today's tragedy." Yesterday, this photo of Shapiro's now crashed Cessna was posted by Daniel Williams, a former drummer with the Christian metal band Devil Wears Prada. The band today posting this photo of Williams with the caption, "No words." We know at landing time just before 4 this morning it was foggy. Listen to this air traffic control audio.
Wind calm, visibility 1/2, and indefinite ceiling 200.
6 Delta Sierra, all right. That doesn't sound great, but we'll give it a go.
6 Delta Sierra, SoCal, you can make descent okay from there? You want me to turn you out to the south?
6 Delta Sierra, no, I think we'll be all right.
But they wouldn't be all right just moments later. Former aviation accident investigator Sean Krushnicki says pilots land in dense fog all the time. So based on what he knows, was this a risky landing?
No, we're all trained to do these, and that airplane is more than capable.
So supposedly it was
Music agency
supposedly it was the music agent's plane, I guess. You saw him flying a plane there. Right, David Shapiro. So I guess supposedly this is his plane that went down. This private jet. I mean, they're not like saying that from what I read. But I mean, you saw him flying there, and then later on in the article, they're like saying it's his plane. So, but look at that. Now we're going to get a whole bunch of 26s and 62s once again in this breakdown. And this has been a pattern and a trend. I think maybe it has something to do with the upcoming year is 26. Maybe 2026. I haven't quite nailed down these patterns for when these numbers hit. As far as what time of year, right? But there seems to be some kind of pattern. But if not, like I said, we're coming up on the year 26. Okay, just to put that energy out there. But look at that right there. A private jet hit a power line. It says it right there. It's like within the first sentence. Look at that. Private jet has 126 and 45 like power line. Okay? I mean, how about that? You know, maybe if they hit something else and it, obviously with different letters, maybe they would have just put jet or plane instead of jet. But you see how that hits private jet and power line 126 and 45. Okay? And again, this was Thursday, May 22nd. That's the 22nd day of the 5th month, which is like 25. And we're still in the year 2025, right? I told you 26s and 62s. So you get 126. 126. Reverse that 26, you get 62. In reverse reduction, Dave Shapiro, 62. And the neighborhood of U.S. Navy-owned housing were shaken awake just before 4 a.m. All right? So, I mean, I wasn't really, like, aware of that or if that was a thing, but residents in the neighborhood of U.S. Navy-owned housing. All right? So I guess what? Like, they have their own community or whatever. But look at that. Dave Shapiro, 62. Navy 62, and again, private jet 126, power line 126. Daniel Williams, 62, former drummer for the metal band Devil Wears Prada. R.I.P. Daniel Williams has 62. 162-day span from his last birthday to this death date. Check that out. So that's from start to end. The last birthday, December 12th, to this death date, Thursday. Start to end, 162 days. When his name equals 62. Again, Navy 62, Dave Shapiro 62, Private Jet 126, Powerline 126. And you know what? On the fly, sacrifice equals 62. Sacrifice 62. You see it right there in reverse reduction. And why we're here, it's the 4 base ciphers. It's all I use to show you this. Ordinal 73, reduction 46. You see reverse 170, and there's sacrifice 62 right there. Okay? Look, even the plane. Look, even the plane. 1985 Cessna 550 citation. Look at that. Parts of Shapiro's plane littered a large area, including fragments under the power lines and a section of wing on a road behind the home, said Elliot Simpson of the National Transportation Safety Board. And from what I read in the article, they're not telling us that he was the pilot, which I'm not saying is like 100% relevant at this point. And that pick right there was the best pick that popped up when I did the search on the plane. So I'm not saying that that's like the exact plane. But it's weird because within all of the pictures that I saw, I didn't really see a plane. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, when I Googled 1985 Cessna 550 citation, this was like the closest thing that popped up. But look at that. 626. So no matter how you look at it there, you get the 62, you get the 26. And that's a lot, isn't it? And I put Kobe Bryant in here, an air-related death back in 2020. And remember, that was on the 26th day of the year. And look, Private Jet 126, Powerline 126. Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna died 1/26 back in 2020. Even Bryant equals 26 in this code. Right? And notice the Eagles beanie as he is born in Philadelphia. Okay? You see that right there? Look when we go over here, and this is kind of on the fly because I had to fix the dates. But look, this happens on the day leaving 223 days in the year. Look over on the right, May 22nd. And Philadelphia equals 223. Isn't that amazing? That's how you know that all this stuff connects. You see him with the beanie on. You had the 126 connection. Kobe died 126. Look at that. Philadelphia equals 223 right there. And it was an air-related death like Kobe. You see? And it connects with the 223 right there. Philadelphia 223. This private jet crashes on the day leaving 223. Look at that right there. And 223, that's the 48th prime number. You see right there? And that drummer, Daniel Williams, look, his last birthday has 48 date numerology right there. You see that right there? That's pretty amazing, isn't it? And let's look at his birthday again real quick on the fly. Look at how his birthday leaves 19 days in the year. And again, here he is right here. Again, here he is right here. But look at his birthday leaves 19 days in the year. Remember, chaos equals 19. Remember the 11th day of the 9th month back in 2001? That air-related tragedy in NYC, the 11th day of the 9th month, 119. So his last birthday leaves 19 days right there. And we actually have more connections with that. Let me just pull up this last slide real quick. Jet equals 19. Navy equals 19. They say this was like a Navy, a U.S. Navy based neighborhood, I guess. Like a little, like their own little community, I guess. But look, Navy 19, Jet 19, and remember, chaos equals 19. Look, Daniel Williams, 91 in reverse reduction, 19 reversed. And look at, he's in The Devil Wears Prada, that band. The Devil Wears Prada equals 191. You see that? And I just discovered that birthday right before I hit record here. So 19, 19, 91, 191, with his band and his name. And again, his last birthday left 19 days in the year. Pretty cool. I mean, it's not cool that they died, but you know what I'm saying? And it looks like the talent agent right here, Dave Shapiro. I didn't get a birthday with him. I didn't get a birthday with that guy, but you see him right there. Okay, so let me find the slide that I left back here. So I left off on this Kobe slide, and that was an amazing 223 connection with Philadelphia, and kind of eerie that he's got the beanie on there as he was born in Philadelphia, right? That was a really nice connection with the 223 and the 48th prime number, and the 126 with private jet and power line. Kobe and Gianna, gone on 126. Check this out. This jet crashes into San Diego. I told you May 22nd left 223 days with the connection with Kobe. Well, look, it's the 142nd day of the year. San Diego equals 142. Look at that right there. And there's a lot of connections with planes and these numbers, because look at the 142. I'm out here in Arizona. That's Arizona's birthday, the 14th day of the second month, Valentine's, 142. And remember who beat the Yankees after 9/11? It was the Arizona Diamondbacks. Arizona airplanes, right? And they're saying jet crashes. We had a hockey team called the Arizona Coyotes. Once were called the Phoenix Coyotes, but they moved here from Winnipeg. They were the Winnipeg Jets. They came here, became the Phoenix Coyotes. Okay? And again, where I'm at in Arizona, Arizona's birthday, the 14th day of the second month. So these numbers are popping up with these air-related incidents, okay? I already brought you New York with 9/11, Arizona, like airplanes, with this 142 being Arizona's birthday, the 14th day of the second month. And I brought up the Kobe Bryant connection, where he died 126 in a helicopter crash. And again, we got the 126 in this breakdown to go with all the 62s and 26s. And remember, Bryant equals 26. So you see how this works, don't you? Okay, so Dave Shapiro co-founder of Sound Talent Group, he also owned Velocity Records. Isn't that strange? Look at, there's like a plane on the logo. That's wild, isn't it? Ooh. American singer-songwriter Vanessa Carlton. They're talking about Sound Talent Group has represented artists including Hanson. Look at that, American singer-songwriter Vanessa Carlton right here. Kobe Bryant's wife's name is Vanessa. Damn, Vanessa Bryant. So you even get, Sum 41. Songwriter Vanessa Carlton and the Canadian rock group Sum 41. Kobe Bryant died at age 41. Kobe Bryant equals 41 in the language. He played for the LA Lakers. LA equals 14 and 41. Holy crap. And RIP to Gianna. I think she was age 13. But anyways, wow. So, 41. So this all hitting with Kobe here. But this guy also owned Velocity Records. And again, that's eerie with that plane or jet or whatever right there. Look at this. Crash 86 like Velocity Records. San Diego was officially incorporated March 27th, 1850. Look at the last anniversary of the incorporation. Look at that. March 27th, the 86th day of the year. Crash equals 86. Velocity Records 86. 86 meaning to get rid of. San Diego still little more than a village. Ooh, in San Diego, California, Kobe played for the LA Lakers. But San Diego, still little more than a village, was incorporated on March 27th as a city and was named the county seat of the newly established San Diego County. So look at that. Crash 86, Velocity Records 86, and you see the freaking logo right there. And then the anniversary of the incorporation, the 86th day of the year, March 27th. Wow. This is just video. Home security camera catches San Diego plane crash. All right, and it's kind of hard to make out a lot out of that footage. But yeah, you know. So I don't know. And you know what? Dave Shapiro died at age 42. Even Arizona equals 42. And this was on the 142nd day of the year. Damn. And what was that other 42? San Diego 142. So he dies at age 42. And I told you the Arizona connection, and Arizona equals 42 just by the numbers. Look at that right there. And that's wild, isn't it? And look, you get 84. Remember, we hit on the day leaving 223 days, which is the 48th prime number. And the last birthday for Daniel Williams had 48 date numerology. 48 reversed is 84. So look at all of this stuff is just connected by the numbers. All of these air related incidents, Arizona, airplanes, the Kobe situation, 9/11. Look, Arizona even has 39 like New York. You see that? And NYC. And NYC even has that 42 and 15. Arizona 105 like 15. Arizona 39. You see how that works right there? And again, that's why Arizona beat the Yankees after 9/11. Arizona, airplanes. the planes that, hit the buildings, right? So wow. Wow. It's saying like 3 people dead up on my article that I clicked on, but then the article doesn't say that in the title. I thought there was 6, but let's go over here. How many died in the San Diego plane crash? So now they're saying 3. I thought it might have been about 6. San Diego medical examiner identifies 3 people aboard plane crash. Roughly 100 people were displaced after the small jet crashed in Murphy Canyon military housing neighborhood. 8 people injured. How come it's not saying they died though? It says kill 6 right here. You see that? Kill 6, including the music agent. So, they, and you may get different numbers. They're saying 3 again right here. So it's like, okay, depending on who you ask, I guess. And I'll just scan the article and just see if anything else pops. And look at what the pictures I see. I'm seeing cars. I'm not seeing a plane in any of those pictures. See, even right there, you see the house, you see cars. Where's the plane? You know, quit asking me to donate. Again, here's another picture. Where is the plane? Aw, poor dog. And they're saying this is like a Navy base neighborhood. I mean, there may be something more to that. And, they're just giving us the plane was attempting to land in foggy weather. I don't know. Maybe somewhere within here they're saying that Dave Shapiro was the pilot. I don't know why. Oh, it says the pilot. However, for that airport, once an aircraft reaches 673 feet, the pilot also has to relay on site. But they're still not saying if Dave Shapiro, the talent agent, was the pilot. I don't know. And if they did, why would they let us know way down here when way up there they're saying that he died? Look, again, there's all just a bunch of cars. Where is this jet? How come there's no pictures of the jet? Not one. I don't know. I don't know. So, I guess we're gonna. Did we get through all the slides? I think we did. It's so hard to make these like under 30 minutes, y'all, okay? So that's kind of like all the information that we have there. And, I connected it to like what? At least 3 other plane incidents that we all kind of know about over the years, right? Kobe, New York, and 9/11, and obviously that was connected to Arizona as well. And that's been like well documented, with all of these breakdowns. Even Phoenix equals 26. If you think about Arizona airplanes, Phoenix even equals 26. You may think of Phoenix when you think of Arizona. Okay, so that's the breakdown. I know it's kind of long, but if you made it this far, I appreciate you. And I appreciate being able to do this. Again, another picture where I don't see no jet. Is that the jet inside that house right there? I don't know. No, that looks like the back of a truck. Music talent agent among dead after jet crashes into San Diego neighborhood. And that'll be the breakdown. This is Daily Decodes 812, or you can just call me Matt2 Con. Call me Matthew. Call me Matt. Just know you got this information from me. RIP to the victims. We got to take the story for what it is, I guess. Until next time.